and welcome to the Cat Collective. I'm Nina, I'm the channel for this channel. And let's start. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, well, and oh. Oh, grieving, bottom of the deck. Okay, remember? Do we remember or do we forget? Kind of want to pull a few more cards, as always, but love, transformation, and financial health. Okay, surprise cards, right? Oh, spirit is here. An offer with roots, that's nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, what's that? That's interesting because... Oh, and fear, that's important also. Okay, oh, let's see what we have here. Box of Rain, Giving, and Explorer. Oh, wow. In between worlds, really, because those cards that they come up together in a reading is somewhat significant, because this is an offer without roots. You know, this is this has no future, so to say, right? And this is an offer with roots, and it has potential future and whatnot. And for me, today this really looks like a timeline jump, you know, because there's so many emotions involved that, you know, because the Box of Rain, it's this sometimes we just feel trapped inside our current state of affairs, right? And the only thing we find ourselves doing is crying, right? It's the Box of Rain. It's this crying because of the feeling of being boxed in. You know, if you look at this looks like it's a dark city, you know, a dark, you know, city in the rain, but the rain, you know, and everything is also reason why plants grow and why flowers grow. That's why the flowers are there, you know, in this card. This card says a lot. And those, they almost look like crystals, you know. It's this, I think your current feeling is that you are not happy where you are, right? But the closer you look at your current circumstances, you also know that you should be happy and grateful for everything you have, right? Because, well, you should be happy, right? You should be. But you don't know, because it seems to me that the current situation you are in just feels like you cannot grow there anymore. And that's where the fear comes in, you know, especially when we are in the middle of a big breakthrough. Before that, you know, right before that, before something really good happens, so many emotions get stirred up, you know, and maybe you have done something also to change some things already, but you don't know the future, you know. That's where I'm getting drawn to the no roots thing. It's this feeling a bit like you've ripped yourself out of the soil with your actions, you know, but you it's this fear of wanting to have a solid foundation, but not, this uprooting when you're in the middle of a transition phase and you don't know what's ahead, but you also know that the past is also doesn't feel right? And then the fear comes in because this is uncertainty, right? Fear has so much to do with uncertainty because, for example, if we fear death, then we fear the uncertainty because we don't really know for sure what's going to happen, right? We just don't know. And it's the same with life when we are in between worlds. And it seems to me that, the old way is disappearing, and the new way is coming in. And those, I think, are your main focuses, your main things you want to have, You want to have financial health and everything that is associated with this beautiful card, but also, again, a fear. So if you look at this beautiful golden tree, it's so vibrant and there's so much beauty in this, right? But look at the foundation it's growing on. It seems so brittle, right? The mountain here is so, it looks dangerous almost, right? And that's what can cause fear, For example, if you're in between, I don't know, in between jobs, in between everything. And then also in between timelines, this can get so much more fear triggering. Because if you have jumped timelines and you suddenly wake up, and it could be that some weirdness is happening around you, and you know that you need to transform things. And also, the timelines, if you look at them, those are all different versions of yourself exploring different timelines, right? And when you've jumped one, you suddenly things get really strange, Some things might turn out to be different, So all of a sudden, it could be from one day to the other, you had no contacts with people, and suddenly everybody is writing you again or just contacting you again, people that you thought were dormant contacts, right? And suddenly they all write to you, and you are wondering, what's happening all of a sudden, there's so much movement when there was previous to that, this stagnation, and suddenly everything happens. But you are still uncertain because you don't know what's happening to you. It's almost like someone really ripped you out and you don't know if you have your roots with you. It's this, okay, I'm getting ripped out of my current situation, but where am I going to? What am I supposed to do? And what's going to happen? And the solutions and everything. And also maybe you are worried about what's happening with you financially because, well, of course, right? And then you need to figure out, it's like, what? And it makes you confused because, you need to be happy and grateful in a way for the changes that are ahead, but you don't know how they will pan out. And then the fear comes in, it's this overthinking and also the spiral within. It's this, I know that something significant happened, but I don't know what's ahead and what's happening and my roots are, it's this, again, if you compare this, it's this, am I safe here? Am I safe in this, what's ahead? What's happening, and which version of myself will I become? And also maybe a bit of a pressure, but, you want to explore. And today I'm also, it's this, giving and receiving. You of course want that, and I think there's something on the way for you that you might not see right now, because it could be that you're really just in the middle of things and suddenly everything is piling up, things come to an end, or you want things to come to an end, but you don't know, or things change. You're wondering, why is this happening right now and what's ahead, right? And it causes you to go into this box of rain and just a little bit more, right? And on the other hand, there's a little bit of this explorer thing going on, you're like, look, she's got this flower bouquet in her hand and she doesn't look unrooted to me, right? Certainly something is getting pulled out of your experience, or yourself, you are getting pulled out of experience and dropped into a new one. That's the timeline shift, but we experience it's still in a transition phase, and usually it comes very quickly, but you don't know, It could be that suddenly you receive some news that you think, oh, that might be not good news, but then you're like, well, maybe it's a sign, it could be that, Usually that's what I think you need to learn to right now. It's this fearless explorer mode, It's this, if you imagine a worst case scenario in our Western world, would probably be homelessness or something like that. But would you be really, aren't you still safe in this? If you have, got some answers about what happens after death, stuff like that, And the more answers you get, the more calm you get, and that's a process to have, because in the new world we are not supposed to fear, because there's only love, right? And transformation, it's this, when you look at a butterfly, often a butterfly is looked at as surface just beautiful, right? Just there's nothing more to it. It's just pretty, right? There's nothing more. If you look at it, it's pretty, and that's it. But we all know how a butterfly becomes a butterfly, and that's why it's always the symbol of transformation. It's this journey from a caterpillar to a beautiful object that you can look at, right? No, not an object, an animal, but the prettiness of it, there's so much more to it. And it could be that all the changes that you are now, that causing you to feel a bit weirded out, are actually planned in a way, or planned by yourself, or wanted by yourself, but the unfolding just takes a while, right? Because a butterfly just gets into the cocoon and, well, transforms, right, into this beautiful creature. And when you are in the middle of this phase, it can feel weird, right, to not know what's ahead, when you are just dangling from a tree, or I don't know, from a leaf or whatnot in your cocoon, and you're wondering, well, but now suddenly everything's changing, the cracks are opening and the light comes in, and well, what's happening? And that's fear triggering, and a timeline jump especially, because suddenly everything changes, and you know that you have done it yourself, right? It's the butterfly that also transformed itself, but you don't know what's ahead because you maybe cannot believe what's ahead, because it could be suddenly fear triggering about, when you're about to have a breakthrough and about to live a new timeline, and everything's crumbling and changing around you. Suddenly there's a construction site next to your house, or people are moving, you are moving, you get out of, you get almost pressured out of situations, and you're wondering, well, maybe you're also grieving. Maybe you're also grieving the comfort that you had. That's where the grieving card comes in, the comfort that you used to reside in, and you wish you didn't change anything, but in a way it just happened. And it's this realization that, oh my God, I did it myself, and what's ahead, and is this really going to happen? Is this really going to happen? Maybe you have an idea what's about ahead for you, which will just confirm how powerful you actually are as a creator. And you're like, oh, well, okay, well, I just wait another few days, right? I don't have to answer to that email right now, right? I just, well, wait until everything happens. But then the question comes, like, is this really happening? Is this with roots? Is this really happening? What I'm thinking about what's going to happen? Is that really the case? Did I do that? Sometimes when we get negative messages, for example, I don't know, we get evicted out of a house, or some things just that we could perceive as negative, but in actuality they are positive, because you know what's ahead, so you can sense that something good is ahead. It could be also, that you feel differently about some certain situations. Maybe you like the exploration of this also because you've done it yourself, and it's almost also a divine intervention, because look who's here, spirit, right? And spirit again is something, at least at your current point of view, is like you don't really know who's in charge of this, because there is a force greater than yourself, but you also know you are the generator of your play, and you want to play a different game right now, right? You want to learn and experience certain things, and you maybe have summoned them, or called them towards you for a long while, and that never happened, and you were thrown into this miserable comfort zone of yours. And it could be that now suddenly things are moving and you are almost getting freaked out by your own power, right? But it's like the message in this reading is clearly, hey, love is ahead. So love can be terrifying as well, if you think about it. When you really love someone and you meet someone really new and you think they are out of your league, and you are just scared of being around them because they feel like, well, your worthiness sometimes, that's also the transformation of this, knowing that you are worth everything, and also the good things that are ahead, and therefore, when you look at it from a loving perspective, and you look at it from everything, it doesn't have to be a new person or something like that, but just the change of circumstances, they come with love. So and it's if you look at this is already a butterfly, right? There's no caterpillar in this image, right? And there's the rainbow, it's this suddenly realizing that you were able to create from a sad perspective, from a sad point of view, because sometimes we there are so many wise words out there of people who say, well, you have to vibrate first what you want, but there's a very thin line in between happy tears and sad tears. It's this almost going mad and then starting to laugh, and the same as when you're really sad and then suddenly it switches and you start to laugh just because you are releasing so much. It's a very thin line, and I'm sure you knew that to be able to create, you had to also let go and grieve about the things that you have lost. But you also want, when you are currently in this middle phase, right? In this middle transition phase where it's not yet written, like it's not yet there, but you can already sense it. It's the in between, and therefore you are focusing on just wanting to pull in this, right? It's this, you want to pull in the goodness. Now that you are focused, you try to, if you are not doing it, do it. Just try to get rid of the fear and see everything from the other side. You know, it's this, okay, well, it's happening now. Okay, you might be scared of what's ahead, but you called it towards you, so you better live it, right? And yeah, and therefore just have trust. Yeah. So let's see if there's a Moonology card I can wrap this reading up with. Just, oh, in between timeline jump, right? It's this, just having arrived in the new timeline thing and not knowing what's ahead, because you still are sitting a bit in the old, but yeah. Show the world the real you. Yeah, it's a discovery phase, right? Ooh, a new romantic cycle begins. Well, also between you and the universe and you and yourself, right? It's not just with a partner, right? It's this, oh, universe, now I know how you work, right? And yeah, maybe you don't really know the real you just yet. Takes a while, doesn't it? Yeah, let's see. Take time to breathe out. Yeah, that's what I said. It's just, okay, well, just, you know, change is coming, you know it, you can sense it, you can feel it. And yeah, and the universe might trigger you a bit, but there's no need to be scared, right? It's just, or sad, because everything turns out always with love, because you are the creator and you want to create with love, right? Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Your hard work is paying off. It's also the hard emotional work, you know. Sometimes we think we need to physically do things a lot, but sometimes it's also just the hard emotional work that pays off, right? That's hard work too, to be as courageous as you are and just diving into emotions and feeling them. Not many people, well, people in the awakening journey, they learn to do it, right? Once they were numb for years, but you know, it's like having the courage to also experience this, and therefore, hey, yeah, well. So yeah, I think you can look forward to it, even though you might be scared a bit, because you're in between and you're not wondering, you know, waking up, everything's weird. What's happening? Yeah, so let's see who this reading is for. Oh, Leo, okay. Yeah, I hope this was helpful, and additional info is in the letter box below, and see you next time. Bye-bye.